Hello, I'm Elizabeth Ashley with the Colony Communications Committee, and welcome to Meet the Candidates 2020. Today we present interviews with 7 candidates running for our 4 available spots on the Colony HOA Board of Directors. They are Laverne Davis, Glenn Saylor, Del Mitchum, Pam Vlith, Bonnie Graham, Amy Horlock, and Walt Bowman. Due to the current health mandates, we couldn't bring you the in-person interviews or a live Meet the Candidates forum as we have in years past. We have done our best to bring you a similar format using virtual meeting technology. These interviews were recorded live via Zoom on August 18th and edited to give the feel of our usual productions. We hope this is helpful and brings you closer to each candidate. Let's cover the rules and format for this presentation. Our candidates will begin with a 2-minute opening statement and conclude with a 2-minute closing statement. Candidates were asked the same 4 questions and given 2 minutes to respond to each. Questions were decided by a Board of Directors Executive Committee, excluding any incumbents. Candidates were not provided the questions in advance and were not allowed any retakes for the video. The order in which the candidates appear in this video was determined with a random number drawing. Okay, now that we have covered all the rules, let's meet the candidates.
Thank you so very much. It's me, Laverne Davis, and I am one of your candidates for the HOA board. Maybe you recognize me walking my dog, Carlos, in the morning. We wear a matching reflective vest. Or you've seen me as I deliver meals, as I am a part of the meal train for those who are sick and shut in. And I have met the military bus of personnel for entertaining the personnel during the Thanksgiving holiday. And I'm a part of the book readers, and maybe you've seen me at book readers. I've done a small video before and sent to some of you. And in that video, I did talk of my being reared in Smithfield, Virginia with my parents. And as I was reared, my foundation was based upon Christian principles. Laverne, you only have your integrity and your word. That I've lived by all these years. And in addition to that, I have been a member of the Rotary Club for more than 25 years. In the Rotary Club, there is a test. Is it the truth? Is it fair? Is it beneficial to all concerned? And does it build goodwill? And that I will do if I am elected to the HOA board, and be transparent and be ethical. That is all I have to offer. That is who I am, that's what I am, and that is who I will always be.
Thank you for the opportunity to present my opening statement here online. I'm Glenn Saylor. My wife Joni and I have lived here in the colony for 15 plus years. I've served previously on the HOA Board of Directors for 2 years, president, vice president, and actually the secretary. Board liaison to the 3 major committees. I've been a past president of Roadrunners, Racket Club, and an actor and master of ceremonies with the Players Group. You should know I have no personal agenda. I'm a good listener. I strive to communicate well, and I work well with others to solve problems or situations that are of interest to you and our community. As a board member, we do have the fiduciary responsibility to act in the best interests of all our members. We need to maintain, protect, and enhance the values of our assets. Current property values are up and real stable. You should know also, I make my decisions based on what I consider the best interest of 1,586 homes, the total number of homes we have here. I also think it's important to, as a excuse me, as a board member, to follow the business judgment rule. Business judgment rule says that we need to act in good faith, practice fair dealing, act lawfully and within ethical intent, and most importantly, act within the level of your own expertise. That's why we have management company. That's why we have experts. That's what our job is to do, to rely on them and find out from them and from other sources what is in the best interest of our community. Yes, we do have areas that need addressing. Better communication with the residents, faster response time when dealing with some of our committees, golf course issues, ongoing contracts, those we have. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dale Mitchum. I'm running for the HOA board. I have some previous board experience. I had 2 terms, 4 years total, during the golf course trial, the original trial. And I believe the golf course resolution is one of the most important things we have going on here to protect our home values. When we lived in Mission Viejo at Cypress Point, I was on the HOA board there and also elected to the board of the Lake Mission Viejo Association. Every house in Mission Viejo has to belong to the association. My wife and I are 20 years residents here in the colony. If elected, I will help maintain the colony as one of the premier communities in the Marietta-Temecula area. I will strive for ethical decisions with transparency in all matters. In my work career, when I retired, I finished as IT Director of Operations, a large nationwide company with about a $14 million budget a year and 75 to 90 employees. And I believe that gives me the experience to understand the complex budgeting here in the colony. We're done traveling, so now I have the time and the interest and the experience to serve again. I'm fairly conservative with everything I do. Don't like spending money on things we don't need. Don't like increasing the monthly dues. During my time here, I served on several committees, liaison to several others when I was on the board. I believe that anyone running for the board should have had some previous colony committee experience. Some of the newcomers do not. I would like your consideration and ask for your vote. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to thank you for viewing my video. I'm not going to spend much time going over my information that has already been published in the newsletter because I like to get right down to what I feel I can do for you in this community. I've spoken to the residents that have lived here for more than 20 years and those who have just recently become our neighbors and discovered there are common concerns. The colony is our home, but it is also a multi-million-dollar corporation where you are the shareholders. My duty as a board member would be to ensure that every dollar is wisely spent in a transparent manner. I plan on thoroughly reviewing every contract to look for cost savings and evaluate the performance. The contracts that have annual automatic increases should be based on CPI, not some set percentage. I would also ask for the job descriptions of everyone working here and cut any redundancy and make sure we are getting the best for this first-class community. When I was on the HOA board where I helped win over $14 million for the homeowners, it was a lawsuit against the developer involving everything from planting the wrong types of trees and damaging the sidewalks to not fully funding the reserves properly. So I do have a wide range of knowledge and experience to offer together with my business background. I believe in full transparency and having all business issues fully discussed in open meetings. We deserve a monthly financial report showing the budget versus what was actually spent compared to the previous year. This is just a couple of things I'd like to accomplish on your behalf. I invite you to give me a call or send an email if you have any questions or issues you would like to discuss. Thank you for your time, and I hope you will give me your support.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Graham. I live at 24203 Via Octavo, and my 13 years in leadership roles within the colony serve on both committees and clubs, and I believe my reputation and experience will speak for itself. I have always give to the community. It's just kind of driven in me. That's what I do. I truly love this community. I've found this little place when I was selling real estate in San Diego, and loved it. And there were just a few homes left of new, and we bought it in 2004, and then we moved up here, my husband and I, David, in 2006. I wanted to share with you that I believe in open communication and transparency, and my goal is to serve the majority of the homeowners, not just a few. And I have maintained a positive energy and a healthy emotional environment within the colony. Thank you.
Thank you. I can't believe it's been 2 years already, and I've enjoyed almost every moment of my time spent serving on the board. My duties as secretary are minimal, but I'm fortunate to serve on Strategic Long-Range Planning Committee, Violations, and Golf Course Committees. I've learned so much about the inner workings of the colony, especially the scope of the continuing golf course litigation. I've learned the importance of staying hopeful that the court will bring the course owners into compliance with the court's judgment. The receiver is doing a great job towards that end, as many of you have noted. Is it perfect? No. But is it headed in the right direction? Most definitely. It's no secret that the golf course is a precious amenity, and it's our job to protect it. Your board continues in this effort, in the courtroom and on the course, and I hope to be a part of that win. Since mid-March, our everyday world has seemed to be in a ball of confusion. My heart has been heavy for all of us, but especially for those living alone through it, and more so for those who have lost a loved one during this time. The decisions the board has had to make regarding closing or not reopening our pool, the clubhouse, including the beauty salon and the gym, have been so hard, but dictated by the state and county mandates, they became necessities. We seniors need to get our lives back, as close to whatever normal will be as we can. Please know that our first priority has been and remains to open everything to all members as soon as possible. Once this process begins, we all need to stay aware that each of us will move forward in our own personal pace. Please be patient with one another and enjoy the freedom of just being able to be together again.
Thank you for allowing all of the candidates and me into your home as we present our case for election to the 2020 HOA Board of Directors. I'm Walter Bowman, currently serving as president of the HOA Board of Directors, and I am asking for your vote in this year's election. Someone recently asked me what qualities I look for in choosing a candidate. I gave them a threefold answer. First and foremost, I like to see candidates who are informed, who do not see conspiracy in every action of the board, who have risen through the committee ranks, prepared to enhance and broaden the work of the board. Secondly, I like to see and work with people who can see problems as opportunities, who can inspire, bringing a unifying perspective while understanding that our primary responsibility is to protect our property values while furthering the lifestyle of our community. And lastly, despite our mutual concerns and differences in discussions, are willing to work together with a commitment of civility and collegiality. With that in mind, I am prepared to do my part, carrying the mantle of transparency and integrity to every resident who resides here. As you listen to each of us answer the 4 questions our moderator will pose, please keep in mind the qualities of candidacy in mind. Thank you.
Share with us what motivated you to run for the board of directors.
That's a great question. One of the things that motivated me to run for the board, as I have attended the board meetings, I believe there is a lack of full transparency. I think the homeowners should have more of a say into the decisions that are being made that represent us as homeowners. Understand that the board makes a lot of decisions without homeowner input because we have put that trust in the members. But we just need a bit more transparency, full disclosure. I think it's a matter of just let us feel good and for you to be as transparent as you possibly can. Could be my imagination. And I think that once I can get on the board and see what it is, the feeling that I was feeling and some others, homeowners are feeling, it'll be better for all.
As I've mentioned in the past, I served on the board for 2 years. I enjoyed being aware of what's going on and being able to help other residents that need the answers to questions. I know where to go. I know how to work with people. I was on 2 years and I got off. We did some traveling. We're back. We're not traveling as much. I have a great deal of respect for all of the people who work on our committees. They spend so much time, and I'm ready to go back to work with them and help them deal with the problems and find solutions to situations that come up here in our community.
I think the wife and I have been here 20 years, and it's one of the best decisions that we ever made. I enjoyed my time on the board before, and like I said earlier, I'm ready to serve again, and I think I can do a good job on the board. There's a couple areas that I'm concerned about. One of the things, I think the architecture committee is getting a little overzealous these days, and I need to talk to people about that. The most important thing is the golf course litigation resolution. We need to work with our lawyers and make sure that that happens correctly. And so I want to contribute, and I'm ready to serve.
I have always been one who likes to contribute to the community that I live in. I do have quite a bit of experience, having served on previous boards where there have been lawsuits involved, and also a lot of good business experience. So I'm hoping that I can bring that to the colony and enhance things here. I'm not here to make any drastic changes, but I think just a little bit of a tune-up sometimes is in order. So that's why I have decided to run for the board.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. That's a great question. First, to me, is how the residents can have a better communication with the board by having more direct communication and transparency. We can set up a neighborhood district advocates, which can meet with some board members periodically. And the board can, how can the board know what we need if it's not communicated with them? And the second idea that I have is on some cost saving plans that would help us be more fiscally responsible when I moved here. Since I moved here in 2006, I believe the HOA was at 165. And as you know, it's at 252 and we're looking to go up. So I think that being fiscally responsible is very important. Those are the two items that I would like to see accomplished if elected.
My original motivation to run for the board came after my desire to hold a space for John Hustis when he became ill. And it was my hope that he would get well and I would be able to give him his seat back. After that interview, I had numerous board members who had been at the interview come to me and say, you need to run. We loved what you had to say. We liked your attitude. We like your confidence. The information that you gave was interesting, and we feel that you would bring some new blood to the community and to the board. So my immediate response was, "Are you kidding me?" But and my husband said downright no. But I started praying about it, and within enough time to put my name in, my husband was actually asking me, how do you think they put those signs up on the light posts? So God had done a complete change in his heart, and he was behind me full bore. He's been 100% behind me ever since. And he was even the one that said, "You're going to run again, aren't you?" So that's my motivation, basically to serve the people. I love being in the colony. I love the people here. And I know the responsibility that I have to keep everything as beautiful as it was when we decided to buy here and retire. I have 20 to 25 more years here, so my job is to keep it the beautiful colony that it's always been.
For my whole life, being raised by my folks, one of the things that they always taught my brothers and my sister is that wherever you live, to get involved, to be of service to that community, to help the neighbors and the friends, to make a difference to where you are, because that's where you're going to be for a while, to have an impact. And so when I moved to the colony, on and off for nearly 20 years now, and I've lived here probably 16 of those 20 years, I immediately looked around after a year or so and felt that I wanted to be involved. I was a member of a number of the committees. And then due to a resignation on the board, I was asked to come on board probably in about 2002, 2003, where shortly after that, I became president. I became aware then of how important it is for each of us on the HOA board to be involved through the committee structure, to be involved in the neighborhood we are, to be involved down around the clubhouse, to have a presence where people can see you and ask you questions, be out there in the community, walk through the clubhouse, be at the pool, be at the other venues, be visible, because when you're visible, you have an idea of what the concerns are. Part of my motivation is to help people, to be available, to answer their questions, to be truthful in transparency and with integrity. The job of an HOA board member is multifaceted, but our first responsibility is to each of you as our residents. That is why I'm running once again. And it's what's motivated me my whole life, is to be a person who makes a difference, to reach out to our community and reach out to each of you who live here. And I appreciate and have appreciated serving you these last 2 years.
What is your vision for the colony?
That's a great question. One, I think I have more than one vision. When I first arrived as a homeowner, I was given a package, and it was a package with the CC&Rs and another copy of the CC&Rs. And this is the management company, get to know your board, do some volunteer work. I think my vision would be to have, there's just too much granularity. There needs to be a little warmth. There's a need for warmth and inclusion. And I would like to see that. And in that package, we could have the mission. And what is the vision? Vision is not included in the package. So what does the board see as its vision, as its mission, and how can we communicate that better to the members? And that is what I would consider as my vision. A little more granularity. We can have a mission statement in our package, include the vision for the board and what that would mean to the homeowners.
Well, right now it is such an established community. We need to maintain what we have and upgrade where it's needed. It's a wonderful community. We have done so many things in the past few years that's made it such a wonderful place to live. Maintaining what we have and upgrading where we need to is an important part.
I think that the colony, we need to keep the colony in good shape and viable as one of the premier communities, which I think it is in the Marietta Temecula area. I think we need to keep plugging along and taking care of everybody that lives here in a correct manner with all the amenities and keep everything up to date and make this just a super place to live. It's a very friendly place. It's better than the last place we lived in Mission Viejo, and we need to keep it that way. So that would be what I would want to do.
I think the colony already has a great vision, which is one of the reasons why I think most people purchased in here. I think just maintaining the high standards and high level of amenities and the community as a united community and all the activities, and it's so neighborly. I think that is something that I'd just like to maintain and build upon, which I think that we can do. There are going to be some challenges that we face in the future as far as financial challenges, and then who knows what's going to happen with this golf course issue. But my vision for the colony is to maintain the highest level of standards when it comes to everything, as far as community involvement. And sometimes just being a good neighbor is valuable. So that's my vision.
Well, like I said before, I do believe in open communication, transparency, and I believe thinking outside the box is very important. You know, coming up with some ideas. If something didn't work, then let's try a different way. And I have a lot of ideas that I would like to share with the board and see if, you know, we can have better communication with all the people. There's quite a few people that are new here, and they might not see it as we see it, and we don't know how they really see it. So I think it's important to understand where everybody is coming from. So that to me is my first vision. And once I get in the board and see other things that I might not have been privy before, I will have a better, another vision. But right now it's the vision of having better communication.
My vision for the colony would include maintaining the value that we have here, the beauty that's here, the security that the gate guards offer for us. I also would like to maintain the camaraderie that the members all have. We all seem to enjoy each other very, very much. My vision is that the board would eventually become so united with all of the members that we would have extremely open communication, that the colony continues to be the wonderful place that it attracts people. Houses now are selling like in 2 or 3 days. So it must be attractive to people outside. Another vision is to make sure that the golf course remains open and a viable asset, the beautiful asset that it is. I'm not sure we would have bought here without the golf course, even though we don't play, but it's very important for us to keep it open and beautiful. And that's why my service on the golf course committee is very important to me. I hope that I get to stay and to see the judgment brought to fruition and to see the slopes improve come back to the way that they were, and increase the value of our homes and our lifestyle, keep it the same.
Well, sir, a part of the vision to finally get the golf course issue resolved one way or the other. Our residents here need to see conclusion to that. It's hung over our head here in the colony for nearly 18 years, and we need to bring an end to that. Another one of the visions that I have is to finally be able to work with everybody to bring solar. Now, we're not going to be able to have solar in the auditorium. That's going to be too expensive. But I do think that we're finding out that out in the parking lots and in the lights in the pool area and the tennis courts and over by the guard shack, that the cost of that is coming down rapidly. And I honestly believe that over the next year or so, it will be able to be something that we can look at very seriously. I also believe in my many discussions with Kara and seeing what goes on with the activities. I do believe that we need more space, particularly indoor space, year-round space. And that's where one of the reasons that the HOA board is looking at the potential of enclosing the barbecue area for year-round, where things can be added, where Kara can bring other activities in. And the beauty of it would be a large walkway coming from that facility right down to the pool. If you've been up by Terramore, which is one of the places on 15 off of Indian Trail, if you ever go in there and look at their clubhouse, it's going to be a similar concept to that. So the vision there is to continue to maintain our lifestyle. The pandemic, yes, has clearly hurt us. For all of us to be able to enjoy the things, to have the activities we want, the activities we don't necessarily want to be a part of, but to look out for all of our senior citizens here, recognizing that we have a service to provide. And that's why I say your concern is my highest priority.
If elected, what would you propose the top 3 priorities should be for the board of directors?
Great question. Top priorities. I am going to be a little redundant in answering this question. I think one of the priorities would be, if I am elected, is to have a more of an inclusion in the package that the new homeowners get. That would be the first one. And then the second, I would have some sort of reception or meeting with the board members directly. I think we need to see who we represent. And the board, I think, should really understand that we're representing the homeowners. We serve the homeowners, and we don't want to allow that piece of what we do to be lost in transition. And I think it's lost. So the welcome package to be a little more inclusive, a little less granular, add some warmth. New homeowners meet with the board, with the entire board. The management company is good, but the meeting with the board members themselves, I think, would provide a bit more inclusion for all involved.
Well, obviously maintain the quality and integrity of our community. We need to make sure that we keep the values of our properties up by the maintenance that we do. We need to make sure that we have good contracts with our subcontractors. Wow, that's a tough one. But the 3 things that I think are the most important, obviously, would be to maintain what we have, upgrade where we need to. And my 3 priorities, of course, would be maintenance, ongoing dialogue with our residents seems to be a problem. We need to work at that. And I don't find a lot of things wrong that I could sit here and tell you that we need to do this and we need to do that. I'm proud to live here. We have lived here a long time and we just love it.
I think the first one is easy. It's the golf course resolution. If the golf course goes to pot and just sits around there, it's going to wreak havoc with home values, besides being a crummy atmosphere to live around. I think we need to have more involvement by the people that live here in the form of town hall meetings or surveys or something of that nature. The other thing is just taking care of the budget and making sure we don't spend money on things we don't need. There's lots of people that want extravagant things that I feel we don't need. So I need to keep an eye on that.
Well, I think I've gone over those in my introduction statement. Some of the top priorities would be financial and fiscal responsibility. I'd really like to take a look at the contracts and review them and ensure that we are getting the maximum value for every dollar spent in here. This is $1 million corporation and each homeowner is a shareholder. So sometimes you lose sight of that a little bit. And I'd like to kind of bring that back on. I also believe that the board of directors are truly responsible to the residents here. I've seen issues where there has been a lack of response to some questions and inquiries, or just not timely answers, and maybe just kind of tighten that up a little bit. I also believe that the board of directors need to make sure that the high standards are maintained and even enhanced in here. So I believe that the board of directors have a real duty to every homeowner here.
Well, I guess, again, we need to communicate better because we don't know what all of the homeowners are really what's important to them. The other thing, I am not sure exactly what's going on with the golf course, but I would think that that would be a priority that we need to get finished up. So to me, those are the two main things that we would have to do, and always fiscally be responsible.
At the risk of repeating myself, the golf course, finishing the litigation and bringing it back to its natural beauty is number one. Number two is maintaining the look, the ambiance of the community. And in the areas where the landscape has fallen short for some reason, whether it was frost or under or over watering, to make sure that all areas of the colony are equal in their beauty for the landscape. And third, I would say, making sure that we have a balanced budget and that we're running under budget. And if there's an opportunity, if there are any opportunities to save money towards, I don't know if we really can lower our association dues, but that sure would be a wonderful goal. And I would love to work towards that. I'm just glad that we are financially sound and that we can look at growing and doing other things, more activities, and improving the ambiance of our colony as needed, as long as we keep working diligently towards keeping it the beautiful colony that it's always been, that it always is, and hopefully for future generations it always will be.
Well, I think the first, which I've stated previously, is to bring a conclusion to the golf course issue. It continues to linger and hold over our head. Residents here are concerned what's going to happen. We have a number of things that are going on with legal. I think that we're slowly getting some things in line, but it's going to be a while. It's going to be at least a year before that all sorts out. In the meantime, we can keep you informed and involved. I think a second thing is to really take a look, particularly this year with the pandemic, as to where our savings have been and to apply those savings to next year in order to hold down whatever the increase in dues might be. I think with the savings of this year, I really believe that we have an opportunity to have a year not without potentially a raise in dues, but certainly one that might only be a couple of dollars. And then thirdly, as I've mentioned, I think we have the potential of solar. We have the potential of enclosing the barbecue pit. We do have to work with the city very, very carefully on those issues. I think that we constantly want to take a look at what we're doing here. We are constantly looking at our committee structure. One of the priorities is to get more of our new people involved. We have to have some new blood in the committee structure. I firmly believe that it's the lifeline of the community, and we have to find a way. We also have to find a way down the road to use those people that are going to be on the committees to potentially, in the end, run for the board. So I think those are the types of things that we need to work on. We have already accomplished one thing this year. As many of you know, we ended up outsourcing the Colony News. And I think there's other things along that vein that we can do as we look to the future.
Share with us an example from your past where your leadership and experience were instrumental in solving a problem.
That's a great question. I really don't have to go way back in my past. I am the president of a foundation, the B5 Foundation. As a matter of fact, I was in San Diego today because we provide a food pantry once a month in the Barrio Logan community. So we fed about 380 individuals. So that food pantry is also connected to a culinary academy that I run as well. So I had a chef from Australia who was my executive chef, who taught these students at a location in San Diego. And when the pandemic was first introduced to us in March, I had to right away, of course, to withdraw from the facility that we were in to have some alternative method of teaching the students. Well, I lost my chef back to Australia. I had to let him go. And then I had to find another chef, and I did here not here, but in Long Beach. So we have decided to have an interactive culinary academy on Zoom. And we started, and we have every 4 Fridays for the month of August. We have 29 students, and it works very well. I thought we would have to give it up, but we didn't. And we're continuing just with a different chef, new students, and it's working well.
Well, when I was the liaison to the landscape committee, we had several of our residents have complaints about ripping out their grass and taking away the view that they had paid extra money for. And through discussions with them and showing them how we were able to save them money in cutting out water by changing to the drought-tolerant plants from the grass. We worked with the residents. We found that with their input, which had not been used in the past, but we were able to develop a better rapport with our residents, letting them have some selections in what they would like to see behind their house. What kind of plants, what kind of shrubs? We gave them all types of choices. Unfortunately, some of them didn't work, but they at least had input to it. And once they found out they were not going to be of value to them, they were not going to live, we were able to change them out. That was a big problem solver dealing with residents during this landscape renovation?
Well, a myriad of things in my private life. With that job I had tech support manager, and then eventually ended up as director of operations with a lot of employees. And so there were a myriad of problems in both HR problems and just budgeting problems. Here, when I was on the board, I was instrumental in selecting a new landscape company, instrumental in interviewing and recommending a management company manager. I don't know, let's see what else. I think I was instrumental in the golf course litigation, meeting with the lawyers and helping them with understand what our interests were, sitting in on the actual litigation through all the courts. And I think that was about it.
Well, again, that is something that I believe that I went over in my opening statement, and that's when I served on the board where we sued the developer of the complex. It was a condominium complex in Orange County, and it encompassed everything from building materials to the wrong types of landscaping. So I think that my experience there really helped in pushing that lawsuit to a very, very successful conclusion. I also believe that my business experience is something that could be beneficial to the community, and that is in contracts and legal. For example, there was already something that I kind of discovered a little bit with the speed signs that I do have mentioned in my introduction, where we could have been in jeopardy. And I brought that to the attention of the board and to the management and followed that through to where we resolved that issue and the community was then again protected. So I have like a broad overview vision, and I believe that each homeowner is just as important as the other, and that there is no small issues here in the community. So I think my business experience, along with my previous board experience, will be of benefit to this community.
When I took over being president of the chorus, there were some issues that a lot of the singers had because they weren't getting the information. And when they don't know the information, they don't know what's going on, it kind of can create problems. And so we started with the emails, started sending out exactly what our boards said and did and where we're going in the future. So everybody knew. And every time that we got up there and we met, I would always ask if there were problems. And within a year, it really, really turned out to, from a course that might have not, maybe were considering leaving, to the people that really enjoyed coming. And not to mention finding 2 chorus directors, which was really, really hard to do. But that will be for another day. Thank you.
I have served for 6 years on the board of directors at Temecula Valley Players in Temecula, a theater group. And 3 of those years were as president, and 3 of the years were as secretary. The problems for Temecula Valley Players usually ran along the lines of not enough money. Being a theater group is expensive. It's expensive to buy the rights for the programs, the plays that you want to put on. You have to pay for live music if that's what you want to do. You have to budget for a director and a musical director and a choreographer and the costuming and the costume director. And then there's also the problem of making sure that you have time at the theater, because there were many groups that wanted to use the theater, especially at Christmas. So I was in a group that managed to have a conversation and a group meeting of the 3 major groups that had Christmas time available to them. And we worked out a settlement where everyone got at least 2 weeks at Christmas, with the exception of the chorus that didn't need 2 weeks. They only needed 1 weekend. And they always got the weekend they needed because we were all nonprofits, we all needed to make our money, and Christmas time is the time to make money. So I would say that that's probably my strongest suit there from my past. Always been able to get along with people, and I believe that will continue. I'd hate to lose that ability at this late age, but that's my answer.
I think that one would only have to look over my time as serving on the board, particularly over 4 of the last 5 years. I think one of the things that the residents here would readily say, that when they call me with a particular problem or a concern, I think they would say that Walt Bowman is able to cut through the red tape and to get the problem and their concern fixed. They know that when they call me, I'm going to use the outlets that the board has, whether that's calling Anthony from landscaping, whether it's calling a Jan Foster with the landscape committee, whether it's getting hold of somebody from architectural. I think that we have plenty of avenues, and I think it is very important that the board, and particularly the president of the board, uses the people that are here, that have the strength, that have the commitment, that have the knowledge in order to solve problems. So I think one of the things that I've always been my entire life is a problem solver. Matter of fact, my PhD that I wrote while I was at Michigan State talked a lot about being able to solve problems, to being a change agent. And I think one of the things that I possess in my background is being able to be a change agent positively for the areas, the residents where we live. And so that really is where I have a history of solving problems, getting people together with the right people, meshing things together, using the resources that are in the colony, all of the resources. Very thankful for the management company we have, very thankful for the law firm that we use, because they're a great help in providing information and guidance to us. So again, one of my great strengths, I believe, is problem solving. And I do believe that the people who are here and know that would be readily be able to tell you, yes, Walt Bowman can get it done.
And there you have it in less than 10 minutes. You know who I am, what I do, what I'm all about, and why I want to be elected to the HOA board. So remember the name Laverne Davis, and you have my word that I will not do or say anything to sully the name of the place that we call home. One of my shortcomings is I am very critical of myself. So I will self-correct if need be. My strengths, I am a tremendous risk taker, but I'm disciplined and I am determined and a great communicator. I'm passionate about what I do. And I'm very passionate about my volunteerism. And I stated in one of the questions that I lead this B5 Foundation, and it is one of my joys. It's one of my joys to participate in the meal train here at the colony. One of my joys to work with the military personnel, providing them a place to go for Thanksgiving. And above all, I am an ethical individual. I'm not asking to change anything. I just want to enhance. I want you to look through a different lens, and I want the granularity to go away and to add a little warmth. So if you would, cast your vote on October 8th for Laverne Davis.
Look into the future. Obviously, we want and need to open our facilities, but we can only do that when we get the green light from our legal department. Without their approval, the burden comes back to the homeowners association. A mistake here could be very costly. I want to mention dues increase. No one can categorically tell you we're not going to have dues increases. My position on this is there will be no increase without total, and I mean total justification for that increase. As I've mentioned before, we love living here. We are very active. We enjoy all the amenities. No, we don't use them all, but they're here for us. We're very proud to call ourselves Colonites. We really believe we live in one of the premier retirement communities in the Murrieta Valley. When you consider all the activities, amenities, beautiful landscape we have, it makes our community a very popular and warm place to live. I have the experience and the knowledge of how our community functions. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me. And yes, I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
I enjoyed my time on the board a few years ago. I think I did a good job. When my second term was up, I decided not to run again so we could travel. And like I said earlier, now that we're done traveling, I have the time and the interest and the experience in serving again. If elected, I would really strive to maintain our community's high standards, perhaps without any unnecessary frills that some other people might want. I believe that we need people on the board who are careful with our money. I'm fairly conservative with everything I do, don't like spending money on things we don't need, don't like increasing the monthly dues. In this COVID virus environment, we all need to pull together and survive these crazy times. We need to keep the clubhouse open, but we have to wait on our legal right to do so. The board consults with our lawyers all the time so we can obey all the mandates and complexities on opening and closing from the state and from the Riverside County. By this time, you've heard the other candidates talk about their ideas running the colony. Some seem logical and deserve your consideration. Some seem to be very negative, and that makes me nervous. You've heard from all of us, and you need to choose. There exists a diverse group of interest here in the colony, and I understand that all of them should have a voice in our decisions. I would like to be that voice. Thank you.
Hello, I want to thank you again for taking the time to view my video. If given the privilege of serving on the board, I'd like to hold quarterly town hall type meetings that are true question and answer sessions, where you can ask the board questions and the board answers right then and there. We are a community here, not an us or a them, but in everybody with equal standing and mutual respect. I feel that it is the duty of each board member to protect the community and maintain a high standard of quality amenities while ensuring maximum financial responsibility. The board works for you and it serves you, and it should listen and answer to you. So it is obligated to answer all questions in a respectful and timely manner. I hope you will take the time to read my introduction in the newsletter and review my door knocker like this one here, which if you haven't already received one, please request it. Again, please give me a call or email me if you have any questions or have any issues you would like to discuss. You'll find all my contact information in the August newsletter. Again, I am Pam Bliss. I'm asking for your vote, and I thank you for your consideration. Be well and stay safe.
I want to thank you for listening to this, and I am asking for your vote to please vote for Bonnie Graham. My email address is, again, BonnieRayGraham@gmail.com, BonnieRayGraham@gmail.com. And you can call or text me at my cell, which is 889-6770. So when considering who to vote for, please know that I highly believe in the following. I believe in open communication and transparency. I believe in integrity and honesty. And I also believe that always doing the best that you can when you're serving for others. Please keep me in mind. Thank you.
Hopefully, you've carefully read all of the candidates' resume in the August Colony News and might even agree with me that we are fortunate to have a wide variety of candidates from which to choose. Our members' interests will be best served by a board that consistently asks to maintain, protect, and then continues to enhance the value of our biggest asset, the colony. I told you earlier about what I've learned during this past 2 years, and I feel like a runner, well, make that a walker, who has finally broken in that new pair of tennies. I'm familiar with the ins and outs of bringing concerns to the board for consideration and ready to make my case for a vote to implement a corrective course of action when needed. I'm hitting my stride, and I hope you've noticed. None of us sees everything here in the colony as being perfect. Are there areas to improve? Yes. Among them are the need for improved methods of community-wide communication. The rumor mill needs to become a thing of the past. Improved communication between the board, the members, and the management staff needs to be a priority. Another need is a much more inviting atmosphere at the general board meetings with more open discussion between board members on issues we face. My plan is to continue to work toward making this open communication style a reality, and I'm praying for board members with the like mind. I'm always available to listen to member concerns and take all suggestions into consideration for implementation. I would like very much to continue to serve each of you, working at maintaining all that has created this wonderful community, while at the same time working toward making selected improvements that will benefit all of us. No matter how you cast your ballot, please be sure to make your voice heard and send your ballot in. My name is Amy Horlock, and I would very much appreciate receiving one of your 4 votes.
In closing, once again, thank you for allowing us into your home. You have now heard from all of the potential candidates for the HOA Board of Directors, class of 2022. For the next 2 years, the choice you will be making, by and large, will shape and impact our community and lifestyle. I am here today to ask you for your vote. I cannot lead without your vote, nor can I serve unless I'm elected. In a matter of days, it will be your turn, your opportunity to choose the 4 members who will make up the board for this year. Most of you watching right now know me. You know of my love for our community. You know firsthand of the hours that I and others have prioritized to serve you in order to keep the colony the place we call home. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to have served you these past 2 years. Actually, serve you 4 of the last 5 years. With your vote now, I look forward to serving you through 2022. Lastly, you know that when you call Walter Bowman, I am the one who answers the phone because your concern is my highest priority. Thank you.
Hello again, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope you find it helpful in determining your picks for HOA board members. Don't forget to cast your ballot on October the 8th. I look forward to seeing everybody out and about soon. Stay safe and be well.